So we are already on the third part of our discussion in Revit, which is the documentation part. So we're going to discuss how to create your orientation, how to use your annotations, setting up your layout or sheets, and then graphical presentation or visual presentations, scheduling, and management. And we're going to divide this into three parts. So the first part that we're going to discuss is the orientation, annotations, and setting up your sheets. On the second part, we're going to discuss visual or graphical presentations and scheduling. And the last part, we're going to discuss the management. So let's start. So we're going to discuss orientation or how to create orientation in Revit. So before we go to the creating orientation sa Revit, i-discuss muna natin yung dalawang terms or needed doon sa pag-setup ng ating orientation. So mayroon akong plano dito ang ginawa. Okay. And then para makapag-set up kayo ng orientation nyo, punta tayo sa may site plan. Okay. Dito sa site plan, makikita nyo itong dalawang icon na to. Once na-select natin siya, magpunta tayo sa filter, makikita natin yung name ng icon. So we have here the project base point at survey point. So anong difference ni project base point at survey point? Si project base point, ito yung circle na shape, and then si survey point, ito yung triangle na shape. So si project base point, dito mo ayusin yung orientation mo. Si survey point naman, mas concern niya is yung elevation. Usually si engineer ang gumagamit ng survey point or si geodetic engineer in particular. Okay. Si project base point, kumbaga ito yung origin mo doon sa project mo. Then survey point, ang pinaka sinusukat niya is yung pinaka lowest elevation doon sa site or maaring highest elevation din. Depende dun sa pagkakasurvey ni geodetic engineer. So yan, check muna natin survey point. So si project base point, makikita niyo yung properties niya. Okay, meron siyang north, south, east, west coordinates, and then yung elevation. Okay. Si north, south, east, west coordinates, yun yung coordinates niya from the origin. Pag nilayo mo siya, ang sukat niya is sa plane lang. Okay, horizontal, vertical, doon sa plane. Kapag itong elevation, doon na siya sa mismong lowest or yung pinakamababa at pinakamataas na elevation doon sa site ninyo. Kapag sa survey point naman, halos same lang din, pero mawawala na si true north. So halos same lang din. So north, south, east, west coordinates along the plane, and then yung elevation dun sa mismong lowest and highest point doon sa site ninyo. So once na-click mo sila, meron ka makikitang clip. So ibig sabihin naka-clip sila doon sa origin ninyo. Pag in-clip nyo siya, mag-move yan, magbabago yung coordinates. Okay, so kung ano yung value ng coordinates nyo, yun yung layo niya doon sa origin. Same as with the survey point. Once na in-clip mo siya, once in-move mo, kung ano yung value doon sa coordinates na, yun din yung layo niya doon sa origin ninyo. So, balik natin siya sa 0. So, para mabago yon, click nyo lang itong coordinates, then type in yung 0. Yan. Then, i-unclip nyo, clip nyo na lang din para hindi mag-move yung mga points na yan. Okay, so ang gagawin lang natin is i-move lang natin itong ginawa nating plano doon sa origin para yun yung pinaka-base point niyo doon sa plan. So ibig sabihin yung plano niyo nasa 0, 0 coordinates or nasa origin nung drawing area nyo or nung site. Okay, so next, para makikita rin natin kung anong effect niya doon sa ating elevation. So punta tayo sa south elevation, Then mapapansin nyo dito, wala yung dalawang points na yon. So what you have to do is dito sa properties, hanapin si visibility graphics or si graphic display, or you can type in VG for its shortcut. So click lang natin sa edit, and then hanapin natin si site, and then expand lang natin, then i-check lang natin si project base point and si survey point, then click apply and okay. So lalabas na ngayon si project base point and si survey point. Ayan. So yung plan natin nandun sa 0 coordinates or nasa origin. So pag in-unclip lang natin si select muna natin dalawang icon. Pag in-unclip natin si project base point at minove natin siya, mapapansin nyo, nagbago yung elevation natin. Kasi ito yung pinaka-base point ng project natin. Okay. So, dapat palaging nasa 0 siya. Ngayon, kung lumayo siya, ibig sabihin, maaaring may basement ka. Okay. So, yung pinaka-base point mo doon sa drawing niyo or sa plano niyo. Kaya nag-iba yung elevation ng level 1. Si survey point, once move natin siya, ito na yung layo itong sa elevation na to, ito yung layo niya away from the origin, hindi away from the project base point. Kasi kahit ilagay natin sa 0 si project base point, hindi nagbabago yung elevation natin doon sa drawing natin. Okay. So 0 pa rin yung level 1 natin. Whereas si survey point, sinusukat lang niya yung layo niya from the origin. So maaari kung slopey yung site ninyo, tapos medyo may mga stilt or hiwa-hiwalay din yung buildings, syempre si project base point mo, magbabago rin siya. Okay, so dun masusukat na yung elevation ng mga buildings ninyo kung complex yung project. Yan. So, yun lang naman pagdating kay project base point tsaka si survey point. So, ibalik natin ulit siya sa 0. So, i-unclip natin. Sorry, clip lang natin siya. Yan. So, now, di-discuss na natin yung pag-create ng orientation. So, meron tayong tinatawag na project north tsaka true north. Pag sinabi nating project point ay project north, yun yung default na north natin kay Revit or kahit sa ang drawing natin. Laging default natin si north, laging nasa taas. So ganyan si project north. Kapag sinabi nating true north, yun yung real or yung actual location ng north natin based doon sa site na meron tayo. So, para mag-set up or mag-create or mag-orient ng north natin or ng true north, i-click lang natin si project base point and then click lang natin si angle to true north. So, kung nakalagay dun sa or kung based dun sa findings or report ni genetic engineer na ang ating north ay nasa ganitong angle, ita-type lang natin yung angle na yon. Or kung sinabi ni Google na ganun yung angle, yun lang din yung type natin dito sa true north. So let's say 30 degrees ang ating north. Yan. So naka-orient na yan. Okay. Nalagay na natin yung orientation ng north natin. So dito sa properties, hanapin lang natin si orientation. Yan, sa orientation. So ngayon, ang orientation natin nakalagay is project north. So meaning, ang north natin nasa taas. So gagawin lang natin siya na true north. Then yan, ma-orient na siya doon sa angle na binigay natin or na nakalagay doon sa report. So ganyan mag-set up ng orientation. So ngayon, maglalagay tayo ng symbols for the north side. So balik muna natin siya to project north. Then punta tayo sa annotate tab and then symbols. Okay, then maglo-load lang tayo ng family. Then punta tayo sa US metric na folder. Then annotations. And then hanapin lang natin si north or north arrow. So yan. So meron tayong dalawang north arrow dito. North arrow 1 at north arrow 2. So lagay natin sa north arrow 1. Yan. Lagay lang natin siya doon sa side kung saan nyo gusto mong ilagay. Yan. Then click lang natin, then i-rotate natin siya based doon sa angle nung ating true north. Yan. So let's say 30 degrees. Yan. So na-orient na siya. So malalaman nyo kung tama yung orientation ng symbol ninyo once na nag-point siya upwards if we change this to true north. So, punta tayo ulit sa properties, then hanapin natin sa orientation, then change natin siya into true north. Yan. So, yung north symbol natin, nag-point upward na siya. So, ibig sabihin, tama yung pagkaka-rotate natin dun sa symbol. Okay. So, next, once na setup mo naman siya dito sa project base point ninyo at nagpunta na kayo sa level 1, okay, at hanapin nyo si orientation, then change it to true north, mag-rotate din siya. Okay. So, ganun kapag gagawa ka ng or set up ka ng orientation inyo. Okay, so sa site, okay siya. Pero pagdating sa floor plans, always i-orient natin sa project parts. Kasi medyo mahirapan tayo kapag naka-angle yung plano natin. So, sa orientation, importance niya is to, sa pagde-design is yung malaman kung nasan yung sun path, saan yung wind direction. So, yan. So, yun yung isa sa mga importance ni orientation sa design. So, that's it on how to create orientation. Okay, so we're going to discuss annotations. So annotations can be found here on the annotation tab. So these annotations helps you to put up dimensions, detailing, putting up text, taggings, symbols. So those are the things that annotations do. So start off with the dimension. So the dimensions that can be found here in the annotation tabs are the aligned, linear, angular, radial, diameter, arc length, and we have here the spot elevation, spot coordinate, and spot slope. So these aligned and linear are almost the same. However, this align tool gives you a dimension parallel to the element or the object, whether it is in a horizontal or vertical or in diagonal layout. Whereas on the linear, it only measures horizontally and vertically. Whether your elements in angular position, it still measures horizontal or vertical. So angular, it measures the angles of your drawing. Radial for the radius of the circle or of your drawing. Diameter, its diameter. Then arc length, the length of your arc or somewhat circumference. Then for the spot elevation, it measures the elevation of your elements that you want to measure. Then spot coordinate, the coordinates of your elements from its origin. Then spot slope, it measures the slope of your elements, particularly on roofs, ramps, or depending on your design. So start off with the aligned. So we have a drawing here, a space. Okay, so once we click the align tool, here on the options tab, you can see here the place dimensions and the pick. So here on the place dimensions, you have here wall center line. Okay, so these are the options for you to on how you will measure your drawings. So you have wall center lines. So once we say wall center lines, you will start your dimension on the center line of your wall. Okay, and then for the wall faces, so whether on the interior or exterior side of your wall, center of core. So walls have different structures or layers. So you have the core, the finishes, the membrane, what else? Insulation or substrate, sorry. So on this type of wall, your core is this one. So this symbol is CHB, I think. Then this one, okay. So once we click this one, this wall, so it's a basic wall, exterior brick. So meaning this is a brick, then maybe there's an insulation, another maybe a substrate, then your CHB or your core, and then a plaster, for instance. So since this is your core, center of core, so you will be measuring or starting your dimension on the center of your core, which is this one. And then for the faces of core, so once we zoom in, it could be on the interior side or the exterior side of your core. Okay. So we will choose or select the wall faces. I prefer that way of dimensioning rather than on the wall centers. Okay. Next is the pick. You have here the individual references and the entire walls. So once we say individual reference, you can measure your objects or elements individually. If it's entire wall, you will be measuring from this point to this point. So you will measure entire wall, the entire wall. Whether you have a wall on the middle, it's still, you will be measuring the entire walls. Okay, so let's try to demonstrate for you to visualize. So let's start off with the individual reference. So there. So you can select, you can create your dimensions individually. If you choose to, or if you pick entire walls, so automatically it will be measuring this wall. Whether you have a windows here, so let's try to provide a window. Architecture, WN, or click that icon and then place your, let's try this one, and place your windows here. So still, let's remove this. So again, so the shortcut for the align dimension is the I. So still, it will be measuring your entire wall. Even you have windows here. So, okay. So going back here on the annotate, click the aligned or type the I. So here on the edit type, you can see here the parameters for your align dimensions. So just for a reminder, always duplicate your elements, whether it's a wall, a roof, a floor, a window, dimensions, and other symbols found here on the Revit system. You have to duplicate it because it will be messed up if you don't duplicate it. And if, for example, you want another type of your dimension, and you still use the dimension, the align dimension, for instance, and then you want to change the text and you didn't duplicate it, so what will happen is that it will affect the other dimension since you're using the same style and the align dimension. So always duplicate it. So for now, I won't duplicate it. This is just to demonstrate on how you will create your dimension. So starting off with the dimension string type. So here we have continuous. So once you click this one, you can see here the baseline and ordinate. So if this is continuous, so you can measure your wall or elements continuously, just like what we did earlier. So that's okay for this one. So let's try to measure if we use the continuous, sorry, DI, then individual. Okay, there. So you can measure it continuously. Okay. So that's how the continues. So let's try to delete this. Then type in DI, then edit type. What if it's baseline? So in baseline, what will happen is that if I select from this point to this point, I have my first layer of dimension. Then if I select up to this point, there will be another layer of dimensions. So let's try. Okay. Control C. Okay, baseline. And for instance, this one. Then this one. So as you can see, you already have 3 layers of dimension. So that's how baseline works. Okay, so let's delete this again. So type in DI or click that icon, align, and then an edit type. We have now ordinate. So apply. Okay. So you can also already see here, there's an ordinate. So meaning, there's like coordinates. Okay. So you start from this point going to this point, you have a dimension of 17490 or whatever value that popped there. So same as on this, so 0 to this one, you have 7183, and from this one going here, you have 17490. So that is how ordinate works. So where you can use this one, so you can use this one on your elevations. So from you can actually see the elevation from the 0 coordinates or 0 level. Okay. So it will just add up to your it will just add. So let's say from this point to this point, you already have now 7490, whereas on this upper layer, this entire wall is 17490. So there's an addition happening on the dimensions. Okay. So if we change it back to the continuous, okay, so you can see now that 7183 plus 10307. So the sum is 17490. That's why the value here is the same with the value on the upper dimension. Okay, so let's change this to continuous. So for the leader type, you have an arc. So you have other options here. You can have a line or an arc. So for you to see it, if I move this text, you can see now your leader. And here on your properties, on the graphics, you can see a leader and it is checked. So if you uncheck this one, so the leader will be removed. Okay. So if you want to changes to line, it will become a line. I'm sorry. There. So you have now your line. Okay. So leader tick mark, you have a none. So if you provide a tick mark, so you will have a tick mark here. So let's say arrow 30 degrees, click apply. So you now have your tick. So it depends on you if you want to provide a tick or a leader. But I prefer none. So for the show leader, when text move, you have here beyond witness line. So witness line, this is the witness line. In AutoCAD, we call it as extension line. But in Revit, it's with witness line. So let's apply. Click OK. So if you move it here, the leader will be removed unless your dimension text is beyond your extension or this line or witness line. So you have here another option is away from origin. So whether beyond or before the witness line, your leader will be shown. See, there's still a leader. There. So take mark. So you have diagonal 3 mm. So this is the style of your tick mark. So this one. So if you want to change this, let's say this one. So your tick mark will be changed to box. So you can also change the line weight of your dimensions. So let's make it 1. So tick mark line weight. So line weight of your tick mark. So let's say diagonal and then change the line weight. If you want it to be visible like that, you can do so. Depends. It still depends on you. So dimension line extension. This one, this small line. Okay, so the dimension or the length is 3 mm. So you can actually extend it. For example, 10. Click apply. So it will be extended. So witness line control. So gap to element. So gap here. So below that is the witness line gap to element. So how far is your witness line to your element? So here you have 2. So other options for witness line control is fixed to dimension line, meaning you will be fixing your the length of your witness line to 2.4 mm. So if you want to increase this one, so let's say 300. Okay, so it will be fixed as 300. So you can change this to gap to element. Click apply. So there. So you may offset it or change the length. Let's say 30. So it depends on you. And then witness line extension, same. This upper this line. So you have 3 millimeters. So let's say 10. So it will be extended. Then witness line tick mark. So there will be a tick mark here on the lower portion of your witness line. There. Changes to 2. Okay, so you have here now your witness line thickness, or I mean tick mark. So center line symbol. So if you have a center line, it will be shown. So the default is none. So you have the north arrow too. You cannot see it here because we don't have a center line. Okay, let's click OK. So let's try to put a center line here. So this is now your center line. That's why it appears. So you can change this one to center line. I prefer this type or this symbol rather than the first one. Then you have another arrow 2. Sorry, arrow 1. There. So change this to CL if needed, but most of the time we don't provide center line on dimensions. If there are instances that you have or it passed through the center line, so provide a center line symbol. But if none, you don't have to. Okay. Solid center line patterns. So let's try this one. Sorry. Let's change to none. This one. So the pattern. So the default is solid. So you can change this to center. Okay. So you cannot see because the distance is too narrow. There. So it will change. If you have a center line, automatically the pattern or the line type will be changed as well. So you just have to click none or solid, sorry. And then center line tick mark. So it's on default, but if you can change this actually. So this one. So if there's a center line, it will be changed like this. So you're selected tick mark. Then interior tick mark display, dynamic and always show. So once you change to always show, this one, interior tick mark. There. So click none. And then ordinate dimension settings, it's gray out because we don't use the ordinate. But if you choose the ordinate, this will not be grayed out. Then the color of your dimensions. So you can change to whatever color you want. But it would be better if we maintain it into black. Dimension line snap distance. So the default is 10. So this will help you to align or if, for example, if you move your dimension, so there will be a snap happening. So let's try. So for example, this one, if you feel that it's too far, so if you move this one, there will be a snap. You can see here that there's a dashed line. So that's the snap. Means that you already reached the 10 mm. But you can actually move it more back. Okay. But as your default, it's 10 mm. There. So next is the text. So width factor, you have a 1. So as long as you increase the value of your width factor, your dimension text will be move far away from each other. So for example, 50. Sorry. So the value is 1 to 10. Okay, so let's say 10. So that's what will happen. Change this to 1. Then underline. So you can make an underline, italic, and bold. There. So depends on you. But the format is always like this. There's no need to underline, italic, but you can do a bold for you. For you to see it easily. Then text size. So the size of your text. Then text offset from your dimension line. So if you increase this one, your dimension text will be far away from this dimension line. And then read convention. So how would you like your dimension text be read? So here up, so if you're measuring horizontally, it's on the top bottom of your dimension line. If you're measuring from left or right, your dimension text will be placed on the left side. So there are other options here. So you have horizontal. If you make it horizontal, if you have a vertical dimension here, so this is what will happen. Okay. So our dimension text should always be above our dimension line. Okay. Then you have the up, then right. Okay, so you can see here that your dimension text move to the right position. Then left, then up, then right, then up. Okay, so almost the same. Okay. Then the text font, you can actually change the text font of your dimension text. So you just have to select here. There are various options for your text font. And then text bound background, so you have opaque. So this will create like a mask on your dimension text. So there are uses if you want to have an opaque or transparent. So still depends on you. I usually use opaque if the dimension hits an element. And then unit format. So since we already set up our project units to millimeters, or depending on your preference, so I prefer millimeters. So here on dimension, you can actually unfollow your project units for the whole project. So this one is for the dimension only. So once you click this one, you can change so if this is checked, you're using the project units that you set up before you use your dimensions. So if you uncheck this one, you can actually change the units of your dimensions. So for example, I want this one to make meters. So I just have to click OK and then click apply. So it will become meters. Okay, so this one is used if you want your dimension to represent or to present into meters. But I mean, I prefer creating my drawings into millimeters. But for dimensions, if you wanted to make it meters, you can do so. You just have to change your settings on your dimension rather than changing your project units for your whole project. And then you have the alternate units. So you have none. So alternate units, this is for example, you have a meters here. The unit for your real dimension is in meters, but you want to have like a conversion into inches or feet. So this is the location of that measurement. So you can have the right or below. Okay, so here, this is the setup that you created here, which is the meters, and this is the units for your whole project. Okay, mine is millimeters. It still depends on you. So alternate units format. So here, so like I've said earlier, that you want your dimensions to be in unit of meters, but then you want to fill. I mean, for example, you want to have an English system units on your dimension, so you have to use this alternate units format. So for example, I want feet and fractional inches, so I just have to click OK and then click apply. So there. So this is the meter in meters, and this one is the feet and inches. Okay. So alternate units prefix. So the prefix for this unit. So since we cannot put a units on our dimensions here, so instead of saying a suffix for this, Revit uses a prefix. So for example, we want it to be like meters, and then for the suffix for this measurement. So let's say feet, inch, and then click apply. So that this is what will happen. There. So you have 17 meters and 57 feet and 4.5 inch. Okay, so this is the English system and this is the metric system. Then show opening height. So if we measure this one, so let's click OK. Sorry, annotate or just type in BI. For example, we're going to measure this and this. Again. Okay, so let's remove the alternate units. So I have here the right, so you can actually change this to below if it's too crowded there. Anyways, so let's remove our projects, then click none, same as this one, then remove this one, so click apply. Then once we check this one, so this is now the height of our window, so 915 by 1830. And then suppress faces. Once we check this one, so it'll be suppressed. So here you cannot see the changes because our dimensions are not that too crowded. But if it's crowded, it will be, some of the dimensions will be moved out, and then there will be a leader. So let's uncheck this one. So here in the others, you have the equality text. Click OK. So where you can see the equality text. So once you click this one, you can see here the EQ. So this is the equality text. So once you click this one, automatically your two dimensions will be unequal. Okay, so this is another way or technique if you want to change the location of your wall or partition to be unequal. So you just have to click this one. Okay, so edit type. So you can change this EQ to its whole word. So equal. Click apply. Instead of EQ, we will read as equal. So let's change this back to EQ. Click apply. Then equality format. So once you click this one, there are parameters here on the side and the label parameters. So if you want to change the data length, you just have to click this one and then click this remove parameter from label. So these are the parameters that you can put for your equality formula. But I don't actually use this or change. I just keep it as is. Okay. And then equality width display. So you have the tick and the line. So you have the tick only, and then you have the height. Okay. So anyway, I don't change this others. So I just keep it as is. So if you want to change it back, so you just have to click this. But your partition will be moved. So here on your properties, there are other dimension styles that you can use. So you have the arc length, you have the linear with center. So once you click this, So nothing happens. Then this one. So arc length 3 mm, then line leader, inline text. There. So it depends on you on what type of dimensions that you're going to use. So if you notice that the style for the align dimension is still linear dimension style. So because those two are just the same, it's just that on how they are being used. Okay. So let's change this back to linear. Okay. So after discussing the aligned, we're discussing this other icons. So align and linear are still the same. It's just how the way you use it or how this dimension works. So for the angular, so once you click this one, so you can measure the angle. This point to this point. So you have now the angle here. So for the edit type, still the same. What you can see on the aligned and linear are still the same parameters with the arc. So the only concern here is the unit formats. If you want it in degrees, so you can do so. Okay. So next is, and also the placement. So you have the wall faces, wall centers, depends on you. Then for this style, you have this. So next is the radial. So let's try to create a radial. A radius or a circle. Okay, so for example, this one, and then use the radial. So there are no shortcuts here except for the align. So for the position, you have the wall faces, same as with the linear align and angular. So these are the or how to use the radius. Same the edit type, same as with the linear align, but this one is much more or has less parameters. And then you have the diameter. So you have here your diameter. And then arc length. So we will create an arc. So you have to click first the arc that you want to measure, then select this this line and this line. So you now have your arc length. So click the arc that you want to measure. So the first selection is the first placement of your extension line or witness line, and then the second selection or the last selection is the end of your arc length. So next is the spot elevation. Okay, so let's try to create a floor. For instance, there. Then we have another floor, level 2. Okay, so let's try to view. Okay, so there. So anyway, so for the spot elevation here at level 1, so here in the dimensions that I am sorry for the style. So you have here the beam elevation, beam crosshair, node symbol, and target. So if you put a crosshair, so this will be used for the elevation. So for example, you have other here, there, and change this to project. So if there are particular elements that you want to measure the elevation, you can use the spot elevation. Okay, next is the spot coordinate. So almost the same with the spot elevation, but you're measuring the coordinates rather than the elevation. Okay, and then spot slope if you have a roof. So let's go to level 2. For example, you have a roof here. Okay. So for example, you have here, and then go to the south. Let's try to move this to base offset. Let's see, 4 meters. There. So here on the annotate spot slope. So once you click the slope of your roof, so automatically it will create a slope. So you can do an edit type, or here on the style, edit type, and then change the arrowhead. So you have this. So this will be changed. And then the slope direction could be up or down. There. So the text, same with the other text for the linear and align. There. So you can use an arrow or a triangle here on the properties. There. Depends on you. But usually, it's only percentage if in actual. So use percentage rather than this. So to change this, click this one, and then edit type, and then the unit formats. So percentage. There. So it depends on you. There. So that's how you use your spot slope. So we're going to discuss text in Revit. So to find text, you have to go to the annotate tab, or you can type TX as its shortcut. So this is the icon or the panel for text. So this is text, this is the check spelling, and find replace. So to create a text, you have to click this icon or type text, and then you can just click anywhere in your drawing area, and then you can find this blinking line. So this is where you can start typing your text. For example, there. Then you can click close. So when you type text, this is just the same with the Word software, where you can where the options or the properties are the same with that. So you have the bold, italic, underline, subscript, superscript, capitals or all caps, then bullets, your indentions. So there. So here on edit type, these are the properties or the parameters that you can find. So almost the same with the previous videos that you've watched. They have the same parameters. So you can change the color, the line weight, the background. Background is if you want to have a masking. So opaque, uh, you can use that for if you place a text on a drawing. So you can use a background for that. Then if you want to have a border, leader border offset, so offset from the text of your border. Then leader arrowhead, so if you want to have your text to have a leader. Then for the text itself, you can change the font style, the font size, the tab size, the again you can make it bold, italic, or underline, and the width factor. Then you can just click close, or you can click anywhere on your drawing area. So aside from this, so you have another options for the text. So you have a two segments. So for two segments, you have you can click 3 points for you to create a text. So first click is where your marker or tick mark be placed. Then this is the second segment, and then the last point where you can type in your text. There. And then the other one is one segment. So first click is where your tick or mark be placed, and then the last point is where you can type in your text. There. And then the last one is the curve. So your leader is a curved line. So there, you just have to do a 2-point click, and then you can type in your text. Yeah. So aside from that, you have your placement of your leader. So if we're going to specify on your left, you have here the left alignment. So you have the top left, you have the middle left, and you have your bottom left. And if you're going to specify on your right, so you have the top right, middle right, and bottom right. Aside from that, you have here your alignment. So you have the top, middle, and bottom. And then for justification, you have your left, center, and right. So on the right of the alignment, you can see here the check spelling and find replace. So those commands are the same with the Word or other typing software, where you can check the spelling for your grammars, and if you want to replace a word. And then here on the type selector, so you can find here different text height and font style. So in creating text, you always duplicate your elements. So those elements are your text, walls, roofs, taggings, dimensions. So always duplicate it to avoid messing up with your project. So that's it for creating text. So we're going to discuss tags in Revit. So you can find the tag here on the annotate tab. So this is the tag panel. So under the tag panel, you have the tag by category, tag all, beam annotations, multi-category, material tag, area tag, room tag, space tag, view reference, thread number, multi-rebar, and keynote. So we're going to discuss first the area tag, room tag, and space tag. So these three can be found not only on the annotate tab. Okay, you can find the room tag and area tag sa architecture tab, and the space tag here on the analyze tab. So let's discuss first the difference between these three. So si room tag, ginagamit siya for it is used for tagging your rooms. Okay. Area tag used to tag your rooms per area. Okay. So let's say there's a function of area tag where you can tag it as a rentable or gross floor area or other tags that you want to put on your area. Okay. Where you can place a zoning somehow on your area. And si space tag, ginagamit siya for usually for the MEPF. Okay. So it labels your space. It computes the volume of your space. It also has a zoning. Pero mostly focused siya kay MEPF. Okay. So makikita siya kay Analyze tab here on the Spaces and Zones panel. There. So starting off with the rooms here on okay. So meron tayo dito kwarto o room, office space. So para maglagay ng taggings, so first you have to identify yung mga rooms na lalagyan mo. So you have to click this icon or type in RM for shortcut. So once na-click mo siya, so you will see, or if you move your cursor on this space, let's say mayroon ka makikitang blue boundary. So Revit shows you the boundary of that room, that you consider this as a room na. So yeah. So here on the modify, so you have three icons here of buttons. So you have the place rooms automatically, you have the highlight boundary, and tag on placement. So once you click the place rooms automatically, you will have your rooms na. You don't have to select it one by one, okay, or manually. The highlight boundaries, you can see the boundaries on your drawing. Okay, there. So these are the boundaries on your drawing. If you can't see any boundary, you cannot create a room. Okay. Then tag on placement. So if you click this, you will now have your tags. Okay. So you don't have to use the room tag command or just by typing RT, whereas you just have to click this. Automatically you will now have your room tag. Let's uncheck this first or unclick this. So ganyan siya. So yeah. Or you can just simply click this one. Automatically you will have now your rooms, or rooms created automatically. Now room separator. So the function of room separator is that, for example, you don't have boundaries. So pwede ka maglagay ng boundary dito. So for example, I consider this one as a lobby and this one as a hallway. So I have to use the room separator. So yeah. So you don't have to create a separator all around kasi meron ka ng boundary. You have already your boundary here. So what you have to do is to put a line or a separator wherein you don't have a boundary there. Okay. Then you click the room. So meron ka ng another room here. So select ko na lang siya. But what if gusto ko rin maglagay ng room tag here? Okay, I want to put a room tag here. Pero wala kasi we don't have any boundaries here. So what you have to do is use the room separator as your boundary. So you have to click this one there to create a boundary. So this warning just says na nag-overlap your room separator and your wall. Okay. Then I'll have to put my room tag here. There. So I already have my room tag. There are some cases wherein na hindi ka makapaglagay or you cannot put any room tag outside. Okay, so for example, then there, cannot put, so let's delete. I will use the room separator. So you'll have your. So for some cases, if you cannot still put any room tag, what you have to do is to click this one and then uncheck the room bounding. So that way you can also put your room tags. So let's delete this one. Okay. So if we select this room icon, you will notice na nagkaroon pa ng other rooms here, which is hindi na dapat. Kasi this is a shaft. So ang gagawin natin is you have to click these walls and then i-uncheck lang natin yung tong room bounding. Okay. And then once we select the room, so part na siya no isang room. Okay. So that's how you include the shafts on a single room. Okay. Now dito na tayo ngayon sa room tag or tag room. Shortcut is R. So once you click this drop down, you have here the tag room and then tag all not tag. So what this tag all not tag used for. So once you click mo siya, another dialog box will appear. So you will select here what you want to tag. Since wala ka pa ditong tag na nagagawa. So since we're talking about the room tags, so i-check lang natin to, then click apply, then okay. So automatic magkakaroon ka na ng room tag. Yan. So dito sa room tag, so once na-select mo siya, meron ka pang type selector or different styles of your room tag. So once you click mo siya, here sa properties, meron kang room tag with area. Yan. So ilalagay niya yung area. And then room tag with volume. So kung gusto mo naman or kung masyadong masikip yung area at kailangan mong i-move ang iyong tagging, ayan. So need mo siya ng leader. Kasi pag yung ginawa natin kanina, naging question mark siya kasi wala tayong leader. Hindi niya alam po anong identify niya. So i-check lang natin to. And then, yan. So meron ka ng leader. And pwede mo rin palitan yung leader mo. Okay, dito sa edit type, pwede mo lagyan ng arrowhead. Yan. So pwedeng 30 degrees. Yan. So nagkaroon na siya ng arrowhead. Pwede naman arrow field. Yan. So depende sa preference nyo. Now, kung gusto mo nang wala namang number or volume, just a name lang, i-uncheck mo lang siya. Then click OK. So room lang siya. And then uncheck natin leader line. You can use also your cursor to move your room tags. Then to replace the name, click nyo lang yung text. Let's say office 1 or office. Okay. Same as this one. Edit type, then check showroom number. Go. Okay. Then rename this as office. say this one hallway. And this one is the lobby. Yeah. Another office. Let's say this one is storage. And office. Restroom. This one is toilet. Office. And office. There. So that's how you will use your room tab. Okay, for this one, let's say porch or vestibule. There. If you want to hide this one, you can unhide this. Hide elements. So that's how you will use your room tag. So we're going to discuss area tag sa Revit. So area tag can be found in the architecture tab. If you go to the annotate tab kasi, naka-grayed out pa siya. So dito tayo kay architecture. So these are the icons that you will use for the area tag. So click natin siya. And then area plan. Okay, so once na-click mo to, may lalabas na dialog box named new area plan. So you have here the type. So you have the gross building and rentable. And then you will be asked to which floor or level you're going to use this type. Okay, but before doing that, let's cancel this one and then click this room and area drop down panel and then area and volume combinations. So dito, makikita natin yung computations na ginagawa ni area tag. So we have the volume and then the room area. Under the volume, we have the areas only and areas and volumes. Okay, and then for the room area, you have the finishes, center, and then core center. Kumbaga, you will choose kung hanggang saan yung computation ng area tag ninyo. Kung sa wall finish lang ba, or sa wall center, or sa core layer, or dun sa core center. And then sa volume, ano bang gusto mong ipakita? Areas lang or areas and volumes? Okay. So again, one of the uses of the area tag is sa mga commercial spaces, sa mga residential like condominiums, hotels. So yan. So para ma-identify ninyo kung ano ba doon yung mga rentable and non-rentable, yung gross floor area, tsaka yung mga non-gross floor area. So yan. So hindi ko naman siya babaguhin. So click OK lang. And by the way, dito sa area schemes, so dito mo i-identify kung ano na yung mga area or yung mga schemes na ipapakita mo dun sa area tag mo. So default na to si gross building tsaka si rentable. So if you want to add, so you just have to click new. So let's say non-rentable. And this one, rentable area, and then non-rentable area. Then click OK. So if you have any other area schemes na pwede nyo ilagay, Pwede naman, or let's say non-gross floor areas or mga parking areas. Yan, pwede yan. Depende sa inyo. Or you can say amenities. So you're just like creating a zoning. Kumbaga. Then let's click OK. After that, so punta na tayo ngayon kay area plan. So, click natin si area plan. And then ngayon, pipili na tayo kung anong areas yung ipapakita natin. So, let's say, rentable areas muna tayo. So, click lang natin yung level 1. Since level 1 lang naman, or 1 floor lang naman ang nasa drawing natin. But if you have any other higher floors, so you will select kung ano-ano yung mga floors na ipapakita mo for your rentable areas. So, click natin yung OK. Click yes. Then, you will now see the boundaries ng rentable areas niyo. But syempre, hindi naman to yung pinaka lahat naman dito yung pinaka buong rentable areas natin. Okay? So let's say these are the offices, no, na rentable areas. So ang gagawin natin is to select the area boundary. Okay. Then gagawa tayo ng boundaries. Then, yung mga hindi na natin kailangan, so, ayun yung aalisin natin. Okay. So, magtitrim ka na lang dito. Then, you can delete this one. Then, let's trim this. Or let's delete this. And ito, delete. Okay, split natin. Then, trim. Yeah. So, after that, okay. So, makikita nyo na dito sa inyong project browser, magkakaroon ka ng area plans, then rentable areas. Okay. And then, click lang natin tong area. And then area plan. So makikita ninyo dito kung ano yung ilalagay ni Revit. So select lang muna natin to. And then select natin siya. And then dito sa properties, you have the area type. So let's say office area siya. And then the name, let's say office. And then this one, hanapin niyo yung mismong X na line para ma-edit niyo siya sa properties. Then this one is office area and then office line. So ayan. So meron ka ng rentable areas. So what if yung mga non-rentable naman? So again, click lang natin tong area. An area plan, and then select the non-rentable, then level 1, click OK. Yan. So another boundaries na naman, and mapupunta siya dito sa inyong project browser. Magkakaroon siya ng area plans, non-rentable. Okay. You can actually change the name of this just by clicking right click. This one, right click. So pwede niya palitan. So, isa-select naman natin ngayon or gagawin natin ng boundary, yung mga non-rentable spaces. So, area boundaries. Yan. Then, trim. Control C. Let's just trim this. Yeah. So, trim na din natin. Yan. So, delete na lang siya. Yan. So, lalagay na tayo ng area. Yan. So, yan. Select natin. Yan. So, common area, then building. Common area. So, pwede ka na mamili ng ibang other area dito. So, yan. Kung paano gumawa ng area tag. Yan. Then, itong area tag, once click mo siya, ipapakita lang niya kung ano yung areas na meron kang tagging. Yan. Then, pag pumunta ka sa annotate, meron na siyang, hindi na siya naka-grayed out. Yan. So, that's how you will create your area tag. So, we're going to discuss naman yung space tag. So, space tag can be found on the annotate tab or on the analyze. So, as mentioned earlier, that space tag is used for MAPF. So, here in the annotate, this is the icon for the space tag. And then for the analyze, it is under the spaces and zones. So, to create your space, it is similar to the room tag. So, same process then. So, you have to click the space, and then from here, Revit will create a boundary on that space. So, you can see here na red naman yung boundaries niya. So, Revit treats it as your space. Okay. So, same as with the room tag, you have here the place space automatically, highlight boundaries, and tag on placement. So, once na-click mo to, your space will create automatically. So, instead of putting it manually, you just have to click this one. There. So, you already have your spaces. Now, for the space separator, same as with the room separator on the room tab. So, you can create or separate a room using the space separator. Okay. Then, the space tag, once you click this one, you will be asked to load one. So, you have to click yes, and then look for the annotation and then mechanical, because space tag is used for the MAPF analyzations. So, look for the space tag and then click OK or open. So, you can now put a spaces or space tag. Okay. There. There. So, press escape multiple times to get out of the command. So, space naming. So, this is used for the space analyzations na or analysis. So, if you already have a analysis on the MEPF, once you click this one, automatically there will be another input here on the space tag. So, once you click this one, there are options. So, names and numbers. Pag names only, ito lang ilalabas. Kapag numbers only lang. And then, for the selection, it could be all levels or specific levels. So, there. Then, for the zoning, by the way, once you click this one, you can choose different styles for your space tag. It could be space tag with area or space tag with volume. If you want to have a leader, you just have to check this one. And then here on the edit type, if you don't want to see any volume or number, just for the name, i-uncheck lang natin siya. Yeah. So I already have. But it would be better if there's a number and volume, since this is used for MAPF. There. So next is the zoning or the zone. So once you click this one, your modify tab will become like this. So you will add a space. So you just have to click this one. Yan. So once nakinlik mo siya, for example yan, once nakinlik mo siya, then ilalagay mo dito sa name, for example, let's say north zone, then click apply. So then finish editing zone. So once nakinig mo to, lalabas tong linya na to. So you can actually move this one. So yan, once na minove mo siya, so ibig sabihin itong area na to is your north zone. Then kung gagawa ka naman ng panibagong zones, click mo lang din to, or click mo lang yung zone, and then select mo lang siya. Now, para makita mo yung zone, punta ka kay annotate, and then tag by category. So once sinelect mo siya, okay, so mag-load tayo for the HVAC. Let's say space airflow. Okay. So mainly this is for the mechanical. So here. There. So, once select mo siya, so magkakaroon ka ng tagging na north zone. Ayan. So, ganyan siya. You can move this, and then you have your north zone. So pwede mo, you can actually remove the box, depende sa inyo. But that's how space tag works. So we're going to discuss naman yung tagging sa annotate. Okay, so we have here the tag by category and tag all. So kapag tag by category, you can type TG for its shortcut. So maglalagay ka lang ng tagging sa either windows, walls mo, sa doors, yan. Yan si tag by category. Kapag tag by all naman, lalabas itong window na to, and then you will select which you want to tag. So could be doors, could be let's say walls and windows. So once na nag-apply ka, click all, lalabas yung mga tagging na yan. Okay, so start muna tayo kay window. So kay window, automatic siya na maglalagay na ng number. Okay. Kung ano yung parehas na window, yun yung ilalagay niya na tag. So just like this one. So window 19. So dito naka-number lang siya. So para maayos yung pagkakalagay natin, no, usually sa plan ang lalagay natin is W 01 or W2. So once na kinlik mo siya, so you can change naman. So for example, W01. Yes. So yan. So lahat ng 24 magiging kaparehas niya sa W01. Ayan. So pwede mo rin palitan yung or lakihan yung shape ng object mo. So, click mo lang siya. Sorry. Click then edit family. Okay, yan. So, dito sa family na to, mayroon kang IT. So, once na click mo siya, hindi siya text, label siya. Kasi pag text ang ginamit ninyo, if you use text, it's not editable. You can edit it, but you will edit it one by one. Unlike if label, kung ano yung properties ng window mo at nag-edit ka doon, kung magkakaparehas yung window na yon, same yung magiging resulta. For example, yun nga, W1. So, lahat ng window na yon, W1 siya. Okay? So, yan siya. So, once na-click mo to, then edit label, lalabas itong window which has different parameters. So, sa parameters na meron tayo, naka-type mark siya. Ibig sabihin, type parameter yung gamit mo and yung description is yung mark. So, if you could remember, so let's cancel this one. Let's go to level 1. So, if we select this window, here on the edit type, sa identity data, meron tayong iba't ibang parameters. So, we have assembly code, file rating, keynote, model, manufacturer, type comments, URL, description, cost, and type mark. Okay. So, once na nagbago ka dito, automatically, magbabago ang iyong type mark. Okay. Kasi, ang ginamit ni window tag is label siya and yung description is type mark. And kaya nagparehas yung dalawa, it's because type parameter siya. So, we have two types of parameters. We have type and instance. So, kapag type, kung binago mo yung isa, automatically magbabago rin yung isa. Kapag naka-instance ka, kapag binago mo naman yung isang object, hindi magbabago yung isa. Okay? So, from there, yun yung binabasa ni window tag mo. Pwede mo siyang baguhin or you can change it. So, just go here again sa edit family, select this one, then edit label. So, if you want na instance siya, yung babasahin ni Revit, so you can look for the mark only. So, what you have to do is to select this one and then remove from the parameter labels. And then, select this and move it to the parameter labels. So, ganun siya. Okay. So, i-remove na lang natin siya. So, ES is natin siya as type mark. Okay. Then for the shape, you can rescale this one para hindi ganun ka, para pasok pa rin yung numbers or yung text mo doon sa lagay natin. Yeah. So, yan. And then, you can actually change the height. So, pwedeng lakihan mo siya sa edit type. So, you can change the height and the font. So, depende na yan sa inyo. Then, once you're done, you can save this one or you want to load it to your project for this project purpose only. Okay. Pero if you want to make your own, you can save as this file. Okay, so, load it to project, then override. So, yan siya. So, kung medyo maliit pa rin, pwede pang lakihan. So, pwede mo itong i-click and then remove mo na yung leader line. Then, move this one or drag this. Yan. So, same lang din dyan. Now, bago kayo maglagay ng windows or before putting windows, you should edit the mark or put a mark dun sa window ninyo. So, for example, ito. Yung sa kiling mo siya, edit type. And then sa identity data, meron ka ng type mark. Yan. So, even on the walls, pwede na kayo maglagay ng type mark. So, dapat, before you put up walls or windows or any elements, naglalagay or nilalagay niyo na ito ng datas para once na naglagay kayo ng category or nagtag kayo ng materials or ng elements, automatic meron na siya dito. Hindi na kayo mahihirapan. Okay. Yan. So let's say this is window 2. Okay, apply. Yan. So window 2 na siya. So lahat ng same ng window na to magiging window 2. Automatic na yon. Okay. Then once na-click mo rin to dito sa mismong parameters ay sa properties, meron din siyang mark. Okay, meron siyang mark 14. Ito naman ginagamit kapag instance yung element ninyo. Okay. So kahit may mark 14 ka dito and then dito sa may edit type mo naka Windows 02 ka, ito pa rin yung mag-govern kasi naka-type parameters itong Windows ninyo. Pero kung hindi siya naka-type parameter, dito ka sa mismong properties magbabago. Kahit magbago ka dito sa may identity data, kung naka-instance parameter naman yung elements ninyo, ma-override pa rin siya dito sa may properties. So for the doors naman, so continuous yung counting. So kahit meron ka ng, kahit similar yung doors lang ng iba, nakatuloy-tuloy pa rin yung numbering niya. So para baguhin din to, same yung process. So you have to click this one and then edit family. Tapos click natin tong label. So again, hindi siya text, label siya. And then edit label. So naka-mark siya. Ibig sabihin, instance parameter yung ginamit niya, hindi siya naka-type parameter. So ang gagawin natin is to remove this one and then look for the type mark. Yeah. Then move this. Then apply and okay. Bakit natin siya ginawang type mark? So since once na nagde-design naman tayo or you put doors on your plans or your projects, usually may magkakaparehas or there are similar doors. So para hindi tayo mahirapan maglagay-lagay ng taggings or magbago ng taggings isa-isa or one by one or change taggings one by one, so we'll make this as a type mark. Okay, so you can also change the shape of your object for your doors. So once you're done, load it into project. So ito 15 na siya. So if we change this one, so let's say 02. Yeah. So lahat ng 02 na or magkakaparehas na door, magiging 02 yung ano niya, tagging, or let's say D02. Yan. So let's remove deleter and so let's say W05 and W04. Let's say this is D1. So you can remove this one kung same door lang or isang door lang naman siya. Yan. Then D3. So ganyan lang naman kadali mag-tagging. So balik tayo kay annotate. So si tag by category, ito isa-isa to. Manually mo siya ginagawa. Kapag may tag all, lahatan na. Or you can select a specific element na gusto mong itag, itatag niya na lahat. Yan. So ganyan maglagay ng tagging for doors and windows. So, same lang with the windows when it comes to doors. So, sa edit type ka rin magbabago. Yan. Then, you have to change the type mark para isahang pagbabago lang siya or yung labeling. So, what about for walls? So, same lang din. So, you can click this wall and then change the, okay, let's see if this one is type mark or mark. So, edit family. So, it's a type mark. Okay, so, gagawin lang natin is we just have to import kung anong klaseng wall siya. Let's say wall 1 or 01. So, lahat na magkakaparas na wall, automatic magiging 01 siya. Okay, then this one is 02. Yan. Yun na naman siya. So, you can put leaders depending on your preference. Then, this is a curtain wall. No? So, iba naman yung parameters niya or iba yung dapat yung logo niya same with the windows. So, usually ganun when it comes to creating your drawings. So, since halos window yung function ni curtain wall natin. So, anong gagawin lang natin is to edit this one, edit family. And then, let's just copy the object. So, create, then line, then use this one. So, let's say there. So, let's delete. And then, save this. Save as family. So, let's rename this as and curtain wall. Then, save. Then, load into project. Yan. Click OK. So, select nyo lang to and then select nyo yung curtain wall tag. So, automatic magbabago naman na siya. Then, you can change, you can put the label here. So, let's say, how many windows do we have? So, let's say window 5, W05. There. So, you already have your Windows 05. Then, change this one to curtain wall that we created. Then, there. So, you have your window 5. So, you just have to copy na lang yung symbols if you want to have the same. Okay. So, here, let's say 02. Sorry. Let's say 03. There. So, you have now your 03. So, that's how tag by category and tag all function or works. So, we're going to discuss multi-category tag and material tag. So, you can see those two commands here in the annotate, and then these are the icons. So, multi-category tag and material tag. So, what's the difference? So, si multi-category tag, you can use, this is just the same with the tag by category and tag all. It's just that if there's since since tag all can tag only the windows, floors, doors, stairs. So si multi-category, same lang din naman yung function, but you can tag different elements on your drawings. Okay, so once na sinelect mo siya, so you will be asked to load a multi-category tag. So you have to click yes and then look for the annotations folder. So US metric, then annotations folder, and then look for the multi-category tag. Then open. So from there, you can now tag your doors, walls, and windows. Or for those that you cannot tag using the tag category or tag all. So for example, railings. So you can use the multi-category tag for you to tag the railings. Or for example, you want to tag a furniture. You want to tag a nails. Okay, so you can use your multi-category tag. Okay. So that's the function of multi-category tag. So same functions with the tag by all and tag by category and tag all. So si material tags naman, okay, so this is used to tag your materials, okay, that you use on your elements. So for example, this wall, so you cannot see here on the properties, but you have to go to the edit type, and then the structure, you have to click the edit. Okay, so kung ano yung mga nilagay ninyo dito, okay, so everything that you put here on the structure of that materials, you will provide a mark for it, so for you to specify your materials that you use. So for example, ito, so finish one brick, so click lang natin tong 3 dots. So dito ka mapupunta ngayon sa material browser, and for you to provide a specification for that material, you have to go to the identity. So from here, you have to fill up this informations or datas for you to provide a material tag. So material tag is also used for finishing schedule or material finish schedule or material schedule, so whatever you call it. So that's the purpose of material tag. So for example, you have here the description, so you have the common brick and then the class, then the comments, so anything that you want to comment on that material thing, so you have to put it there. Then keywords is used for search, okay, here on this side. So let's say you look for a brick, masonry. So whatever you put here, once you search it here, for example, I search for brick, so lalabas itong brick common. Okay. There. And then for the product information, you can also put here, so manufacturer, who's the manufacturer of that product, okay? Because these informations or data will be put on your material specification as well, or material finishes. Okay, that's why it's important that you fill this up for you to easy tag your materials on your drawings. Okay, so let's click apply. Let's close this one. Okay, so let's click the material tag and then change this to fine. Okay, so once I hover my mouse, my cursor here, so nakalagay na yung common brick. Okay, so once you click this one and edit family, the label is material description. Okay, so if we go back to our level 1, so then click this wall. Okay, then identity. So material description, meaning yung material tag mo, ang label na nakalagay doon or yung parameters that Revit has on the material tag is material description. So your material description here is common brick. That's why the tag or the material tag that shown here is common brick. Okay. If you can change this one to, let's say, double F 01, meaning wall finish 1, or let's say BR01. Okay, then click OK. So it will become BR01. Okay. So it would be easy for you to identify the materials. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the family edit for the material tab. You can actually change this one. So you have to do is click this edit label, and then change this. You can change this to mark if you want. So you have to look for the properties of your material on the identity properties on the material browser, then change this to mark, and then you can put this below your mark. Okay, so you can also put your manufacturer if you want to show it on your plans or elevations, or once you specify your material, so pwede rin yon. Or you can put your name, pero it will be confusing because you have the name, then you also have the mark and the description. But still, it depends on your preference, whatever you want to put on your material tag. Okay, so let's click apply, then OK. Sorry, edit label. So here, you have here a break, meaning those break will make this description below your mark. Okay, so let's apply. Okay, so it will be look like this. Okay, but you can actually create a new label if you want the justification be on your left. But anyways, you can change here naman sa properties. Gusto nyo rin horizontal alignment could be on the left, vertical alignment doon, but it depends on you. Okay. So for example, there, override. Okay, so let's click this material, then edit type, okay. Then identity. So since ang description natin is nasa baba nung mark, so ito ang mark natin, BR01, and then the description is, let's say, 4 by 8, 4 inch by 8 inch common brick. Then if you do have comments, you can actually change or edit your label or material tag and provide a comment. So let's say the comment is in herringbone layout. There. Okay. So let's edit this one. Then edit label, comments. So add a break, so your comments will be below. Yeah. Or if you want, let's remove this. Sorry. Apply. Then create label. So let's say description. And then you have to move this. Then the alignment is on the left. Vertical is, let's say, at the top. And then comments. There. So load in the project. There. So you have your specifications. You can also do that on your elevation. Say this one. Annotate, then material tab. There. So you have now your material tab. So that's how you make your material tab. So we're going to discuss now keynotes. So keynotes can be found on the annotate here on the tag panel. So once we click this one, we have different types of keynotes. We have element, material, and user keynotes. So these three are used for you to input keynotes. So element keynotes refers to the elements that we have used, such as walls, doors, windows, roofs, floors. Material keynote, it's for the materials. So you're tagging the materials of specific elements. Then user keynote, this is just like your custom keynote, wherein you can input datas or text in a materials or onto your drawings. Then keynote settings. So these are the settings of your keynote. So once you click this one, this dialog box will appear. So here you can actually create your own keynotes. So keynotes are not just for tagging specifications, but rather it has some codes. For example, you can use this for furniture tagging. So you have your codes there, and then you have other notes referring to that keynotes. So here on the element keynote, you're just like tagging the elements. Okay, so when we tag this one, there's no any text or labels happen because in elements you can actually input keynotes. So before putting elements, you just have to fill up here on the edit type. So click the elements or the wall here, and then on the edit type in the identity data. Okay, there are keynotes parameter here, so you have to input your keynotes there. Okay, whether it's a code or a specification, you have to input your keynotes here. Okay, so then once you click this, there's a three dots here wherein you can load the keynotes that you've created. Okay, so let's say this is wall 01. So you can input your keynotes here, and once you click this one, you can actually choose what style you want. If it's just a number, keynote number box, or just a text. Okay, so same as with the material keynote. Okay, let's make this as fine. In keynote, you can actually choose which one you want to label here. So if you choose this finish or material, there. So it's still question mark. So if you click this one, edit type, and then edit structure, so your finish that you use for that wall, so click this one. Then here on the identity graphics, you just have to fill this out, and particularly here on the keynotes. Okay, so you can input words there, your keynotes. Well, when we say keynotes, it's actually an important notes referring to that material or to your elements. Okay, aside from having a specification like for example 4 by 8 bricks uh, in herringbone layout, so much more than that. Okay, it's different from the mark. Okay, so let's say brick 1. So you have here your keynotes, but let's cancel this one. Let's remove that. Let's try if still there. Okay. Let's remove it. Okay. So there is a way where you can input your keynote. Okay. If you are familiar with CSI master format, okay, that is one way or that is one that is being used in keynotes as well. Okay, so here on the keynoting settings, then here at the relative, or if you have your own keynotes code or keynotes, you can use it at library locations where you can look for where you save your files. So let's say relative, then browse. So you have to go to the metric library, then look for your keynotes. Let's say here Revit keynotes metric, then open it, then it is already loaded on your system. So let's delete this one. So again, let's try the element keynote. Okay, let's remove this keynote. Okay, so once you click this load, okay, these are the CSI format or CSI master format that we use in construction as well as in organizing our documents. So for example, this wall, so you have to look for a masonry, and then what kind of masonry that are using. So let's say paragraph or concrete. Okay, let's just say masonry. Basic masonry materials and methods. So let's click OK. So you have your code here. So click apply. Yeah. So meron ka na ditong code nung nilagay mo na keynotes. Okay. So once na sinelect mo siya, and then if you want it text, so basic masonry, methods, and materials and methods. So yan yung magiging keynotes mo. This is what your keynotes will be for this specific wall. So if you select this one using the keynotes as well, so automatic that will be the standard or the default keynotes that you will have here if this material is being tag or specify. Okay. Same as with the windows, you can use keynotes on your windows, not always on your plan, but also in the elevation sections, depending on on your plan where you want to put the keynotes. So that's how you put the keynotes here. So for later sometime, for the next videos, I will teach you how to create your keynotes code, because you can have your schedules for your keynotes. So for user keynotes, if you want to okay, so let's cancel it. If you want to just type in, okay, let's say this one. Since you've already loaded your keynotes, this is where you will choose what do you want to put here. Okay. Okay. Then key value. This is where this is where you will input your text or your keynote. So let's say floor finish, depending on your keynotes. Okay. Then make it just text or number there. So that's how we'll use your keynotes. Actually, there's a confusion in between the use of keynotes and the tags. Okay. But there's no limitation on using this one kasi you have your schedule din naman, as long as it won't limit the other one or the keynotes. You can use this, whether you want to use this for tags or for material tagging, elemental tagging, window, anything. You can use your keynotes. Okay. So that's how keynote works. So now we're going to discuss thread numbering. So to do the thread numbering, you have to go to the Annotate tab. So dito siya sa tags, under ng tag panel. So sa thread number, so maglalagay ka lang ng numbers dun sa thread mo or dun sa mismong run. So meron tayong stairs dito. So what you have to do is i-click lang natin siya, and then may makikita kayong blue line. So itong blue line yan, ito yung guide mo whether kung saan mo ilalagay yung thread numbers ninyo. Okay, so for example, click ko dito, automatic magkakaroon ako ng numbering ng aking thread. So dito sa may properties, so anong klaseng tag ba yung lalagyan mo? Riser ba or yung thread? Okay, so pag sinelect mo si riser, syempre sa elevation ka or sa section maglalagay. Kapag si thread, dito mismo sa plan. Okay, so sa display rule, paano ba yung pagkakalagay mo? All lahat ba? Is it odd numbers, even numbers, or yung start and end lang? So kapag nilagay natin yung odd numbers, so all the odd numbers, yun lang yung madi-display. Kapag even numbers lang yung madi-display. Kapag start and end, why is it not working? Okay, so let's try. Yan. So ibig sabihin, odd number lang. Click mo na siya. Then kung even, yan, even numbers. Then start and end. Yan. Then reference, so you're in the right quarter. So if you change this, it could be on the left. So yan. Or left quarter, left side, center, right quarter, and right. So let's change this to left, sorry, right quarter. Then for the offset from your reference. So Ito naman sa ano na siya, sa elevation or sa section na siya makikita. Justify. So, you have front, center, and back. So, the default is back. Pag ginawa mo siyang front, ito na siya. So, front ng number. Ito. Then, kapag center, center ng number. And then, if back, dito sa likod ng number. Then, justify offset. So, let's say 3 mm. So, yan. So, mag-offset yung thread number mo, 3 mm. Okay. Select natin ulit. Then, change this to 0. Then, orientation. So, how would you like your thread number be read? So, could be horizontal or vertical. So, let's keep it as horizontal. Number size. So, this is the text height. Let's say 3. There. So, it's too big naman. So, let's change this to 1.2. There. So, kapag dating naman sa may second floor, yan. So, hindi rin siya ganon. Wala pa siyang number. So, you have to put a thread number even at your second floor. Yan. So, let's make it to all. Sorry. Let's click this one. Then change this to all. Same as this. Okay. So same way, you will have to edit this one based on the positions, the offsets, justification, and the height. So after that, dito naman tayo ngayon kay stair path. So kay stair path, so maglalagay ka lang ng stair path dito. For example, nabura ninyo or nawala dun when you created your stairs, the stair path is not also seen or it was lost. So what you have to do is click nyo lang tong stair path and then select nyo lang yung stairs na lalagyan nyo ng stair path. There. So you have now your stair path. Same as with the level 1. There. Then you will just need to move na lang this one. So the properties are here. So how would you want it to be read? So vertical, down text, stair down text, there. So that's it for thread number and stair path. Okay, so we're going to discuss about how to use or to input symbols in our plan. So you have to go to the annotate tab and then click this symbol. Okay. So you just have to load the family. So where you can find your symbols. So you can find your symbols here on the annotations. And then these are the symbols that you can use. So you have your grid head, let's say here in architectural, there are other tags here where you can use. So window tag, furniture tag, there. So let's try another one. So here, anything without the word tag, you can put it on your with the use of symbol. So level head circle. Let's try this one. let's say this one. Yeah, so you can put the symbol here. What else? Oh, you have the center line. You can put your symbol here. So that's how symbol works. You just have to click this one, then load family, then select the symbols that you want to put. You can actually create your own symbols if you want with the use of the family. Say this one. So since it's a tag, we cannot just put it here because there are some tags that we can use. So that's it on how you will use the symbol icon. So we're going to to discuss now on how to create your sheets in Revit. So you can find your sheets here on the view and then this icon sheet, or here on the project browser you have sheets all here. You can just right click this one and create new sheets, or you can just click this icon there. So this dialog box will appear. So the only size of the title block or sheets that we have here is A0 metric. So you can load one and then look for the title block folder and then choose whatever title box you want or sheet size. So for example, A3, then click open and then it will be loaded here. So you just have to click this one and click OK. So you have now your title box. So how would these plans be input here? So what you have to do is you have to hold and drag the plans here. So let's say there. So you have now your plans. So let's go back to level 1. Let's get this one. Okay. So here on your plan, you can actually set up your scale. So for example, our scale would be 1:50. Okay. So if we go back to our sheets, our scale is already 1:50. Okay. So we can move it here. So if we want it to be smaller, so go back to level 1 and change this to 1:200 for instance. So this is now our plan. Okay, so you have now your plan. Okay, but as you can see here, you see the elevation symbol. So what you have to do, so you have to go to level 1. Here on the properties, look for the extents, and then you have here the crop view and crop view region, and you have here the annotation crop. Okay, so let's click the crop view. So once you click the crop view and then crop view region, okay, this is now your crop view region. So what you have to do is to stretch it in so your elevation symbols will not be seen on your layout. Then if you uncheck this one, there, you will not see the boundaries or the region of your crop view. If you uncheck this, you can see now your elevation symbol again. But here on the sheets, since you open since you uncheck the crop view, you can still see here the elevation symbol there. So you have to check it so it won't be seen there. Okay. So next is this drawing index. So once you click this one, then there are different styles here. So there are no title, and then title only, and then title with line. You can move this elevation and make the line shorter. And you can change your text to, let's say, ground floor plan. So would you like to rename corresponding level and views? If you click yes, this will be changed in your project browser. Instead of level 1, it will become ground floor plan. So I click no. Then automatic your scale will be displayed. Based on the scales that you have on your uh, ground floor plan on your level 1. Okay. So there. So if you're going to put another one, so you just have to click and drop it here. Even for the legends or schedules, you just have to click it and drop it here. Okay. So for this one, before you start your project, here on the manage tab, you just have to fill up your project information. So once you input or you open up your sheet, or you're going to set up your sheet, there's already an information here. Okay, so click this project information, and then there are parameters here. So you will be asked for the organization name. Okay, and then for the organization description, the building name and the author. So you have to fill this up for you to once you put your title block here, it's already named here. So project issue, let's say May 2021. Project status, owner, let's say Dominic. Project address, let's say YouTube. Okay, so project address, you can actually use this one, and then this is where you will type your address. So let's say YouTube. Click OK. And then project name of your project, let's say CAD. Project number, how many project do you have? So you have to input here and click OK. So automatically it will be placed here. There. So that's how you set up your sheet.